Namaskar. I'm recording this on the evening of 2nd of February, and this is in Pacific Standard Time. And as of now, there is increasing indications that perhaps the United States is beginning to act as an effective deterrent to Russia's expansionist plans in Ukraine. Now, why does Russia want to invade Ukraine? This is the most important question that needs to be answered. And in order to answer this question, we need to start looking at what happened at the time of the collapse of the USSR. When it collapsed, the West Germany and East Germany merged to form a combined entity of Germany. And Russia and also now Putin claim that the United States or NATO promised that they will not proceed east from this point forward. James Baker, who was then the Secretary of State, said that I didn't say anything of that sort. So there is always this he said, she said, and before you know, a lot of countries have now become, from the Eastern Bloc, have become members of the NATO. So let's take a quick look at where things stand today in terms of troop positions. This is what Russia has in terms of troops, and this is as of yesterday. And thanks to BBC for sharing these infographics. And you can see that the maximum, the size of the circle indicates the size of the troops. One of the biggest concentrations of Russia's troops is just east of Donetsk. And I'll tell you why it is at that point, because I'll come to that in a second. But the main beef that Putin and Russia have against NATO is that they have been slowly but steadily adding more and more Eastern Bloc nations. So if you take a look at what are the things that got added, this is the latest as of today. And now we have two countries, Ukraine and Georgia, which want to also join NATO. And this came up in 2008. As soon as this announcement was made, Russia invaded Georgia, and I think they occupied part of Georgia. Same way in 2014, Russia invaded and captured Crimea. They said that there was a referendum and that Crimea voted to join Russia. These are the two sides of the story, but Ukraine lost Crimea, and now Crimea is completely a Russian property. So every time this has happened, for some reason, Russia thinks that Ukraine and Georgia are the line in the sand where it will not allow NATO to progress beyond this point. So why is that so important that Russia invade Ukraine? So this is the Russian side. Now, Ukraine also has a problem. What is Ukraine's problem? Nord Stream 2. Once that becomes operational, Russia can pump directly natural gas and petrol to Germany. And what it was doing before that was pumping it through Belarus and Ukraine. Now, there are agreements for several years out that there will be some royalties paid to Ukraine and Belarus, but the writing is clear on the wall that after a few years, that revenue stream is going to completely dry up. So Ukraine is not happy about Germany signing this Nord Stream 2 deal with Russia. So there is that small friction also. And on top of that, United States and Russia, I don't remember exactly when, they kind of convinced three countries, Belarus, Ukraine, as well as Kazakhstan, to give up all their nuclear arsenal and put it in the hands of Russia. This is, I think, when USSR, got dismantled, and Ukraine reluctantly did that. And now Ukraine feels betrayed that I have done my side of the bargain, because the quid pro quo for giving up the nuclear arsenal was that Russia would not invade Ukraine. And yet we see that Russia is poised to enter Ukraine. Is all of present-day Ukraine completely governed by Ukraine? Well, for that, let's take a look at the next chart. You see here that there are some portions of southeast Ukraine that are not completely being controlled by Ukraine. Rather, these are separatist controlled. And it is believed that this is what Putin wants to annex first. And perhaps he might go a little bit more and occupy Donetsk also. I don't think Russia wants to enter into a full-fledged war. Why? Let's take a look at the troop movement now. As of today, 8,500 United States troops have now been sent to Ukraine. A further 2,000 are being moved into Eastern Europe and another 1,000 into Romania. Now, US is trying to just make sure it is flanking Russia to make sure that Russia doesn't have any evil design against some of these other republics also. All of them are NATO members. Now, as far as Ukraine's own army capability is concerned, there are 40,000 that are active, and there is a total force of 250,000, and then 200K of reserve army, who can perhaps, become a fighting unit. This 200K number is disputed. Some say, no, it is 800K. Whatever it is, these are all reservists, which means that they haven't seen active service. They are not combat ready, perhaps. They may be readied if they train again, maybe 4 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever it is. So this is like some total, you can say 1 million troops from Ukraine. Now, Russia has now amassed about 100,000 troops along the borders of Ukraine. So 100,000 versus maybe 10,000 of US, and maybe now NATO will start putting in a few thousand here and there. UK will always pitch in if US asks. France maybe. Germany is the one unknown. We don't know what they will do. So all said and done, maybe 25,000 max. If 25,000 NATO forces against 100,000 Russia forces, 25,000 is big enough to deter Russia from trying to invade all of Ukraine. So it is expected that if there's a conflict, that Russia will try to annex parts of the Donetsk area and then stop. And then some sort of an agreement will be reached. Is this what going to play out? We have to wait and see. Thanks for watching. Do like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and also click on the bell button for notifications. Thank you very much. Namaskar.